Welcome to week number 6, and this is the study of ombre, and we're going to be doing alpine rips today. Really nice, easy repeating. Now because I work in the mass retail market as far as producing these tutorials, whenever I do a design, what is the biggest factor is the cost. So the more colors that I add to something, the more cost that it will be associated to you. So it's up to me to be socially responsible to make sure that we yield as much color to the project as possible, so you're not left with a grand amount of yarn left over. So you just don't buy one ball just to make only use 10% of it. So what you'll see is that you'll have breakdowns of colors. We have B, colors C and A, and etc. And I'm gonna rely on you to read this pattern if you would like to do this. You can see that I'm using the different colors here. So because I was looking at the yarn balls that I had, and I said, how can I make this work in order to get myself to the end without adding another color or adding even more of these colors here to keep the cost low. As I've been saying throughout this tutorial, whenever you finish an edge like so, you will see that one of the edges will look slightly different when you stop and start on the same spot. So the key factor in the alpine rips is that whenever you're changing color, I would strongly recommend to you that you always start at a different corner than where you started before. So then I would start here, and then next time I will start on another corner, and try to really alternate that so that you don't end up with one color with all the color changes all within one side. So that's something that I would suggest to you. So I'm gonna leave those color options for you. You can read those on the pattern on what colors there are. They're joined B, which is the color A, and then B, C, B, and A, and those are the colors on the pattern. So I'm just going to be using spare yarn. That's what I've been doing on this whole thing, and I'm gonna begin to start on round number 50, and then we're gonna be introducing the alpine stitch which will get repeated over and over throughout this whole thing. So without further ado, let's begin number 50.
Time is gone and I grew up and somehow made it through without.
So let's begin in a corner where I have not been doing the color changing, and you can see that it's really nice and flowing. I'm going to introduce another one. This is called Beautiful, and this is again Red Heart Super Saver Ombre, and I have just a ball and a half of this left in my collection, so I'm just gonna use what I have left. I'm not saying you'll need a ball and a half, but what I'm not going to do is change the color every time because I'm just gonna use some spare yarn. You can decide to do that. So let's just join into a corner space, and then we're going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. That does not count as a stitch, and I want you to half double crochet into the same corner, chain 2, and then half double crochet into the same corner. So every corner on this particular round will be 1 half double crochet, chain 2, 1 half double crochet. I want you now for the remaining all the way across, just make it a back post double crochet. Remember the tip that I gave to you in the rows or in the series before, is that when you wrap around those posts, make sure that you capture the entire post and not just a portion of it, so that it doesn't look like it's out of place. So I would look back on your stitches every now and then, make sure that you did wrap around, because it's very easy to go in and just realize that you may not have gone all the way around and you're kind of missing something, and it will look like that if that's possible. So please do that. So back post double crochet into each of the stitches all the way to the corner, and the corners, as I mentioned, is 1 half double crochet, chain 2, and 1. So the corners, as I mentioned, is 1 half double crochet, chain 2, 1 half double crochet, and I'll see you at the end of round number 50 in a moment. I'm coming around on number 50. You do the last one, and you've already done the first one, and slip stitch it to the top of the first half double crochet that you started with, and then you're good to go. So it looks like a bit of extra, but I find that when I just do chain 2 and that counts as a half double crochet, I find more people send me a complaint message that they're missing stitches, and so I've added the chain 2. It doesn't count as a stitch to avoid that drama. So let's slip stitch to the corner, and let's start our alpine stitch on round number 51 next. So let's begin round number 51 all the way to 55. This is the alpine stitch. You're going to notice that all the stitches line up with each other. So we just have to worry about really 51 in order to get that sequence. And then once you're going to notice in 52, you're going to notice that they will all align with each other. So the first stitch out will always be the front post treble, and the next one is a double crochet, and you will always end up with a front post treble on the last one, and then the corners will always be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So what I'm going to leave in your hands, I'm gonna show you how to do that, okay, and then you're going to do the rest of these rows on your own, or rounds on your own, and you're going to complete up to round number 56, and 56 is just a regular double crochet round of 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into the corner, and that's where I'm gonna leave you on round number 6. So let me show you how to start with the alpine stitch, and then once you go into the future, the next time you do the alpine stitch, they just sit with each other, and then you just have to create an extra one on the ends, just like you see. Let's begin and try round number 51. Okay, let's begin round number 51. Always start with the chain 3, which will count as your double crochet, and then double crochet back into that same corner. Then chain 2 to turn, and then 2 double crochet back into that same corner. So each one of your corners will always be this. So whenever you start the alpine stitch, the very first one that will leave out of a corner will be the front post treble. So wrap the hook twice and go in from the side and just capture that. Yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2, 2 and 2 all the way back to the top. So 2, 2 and 2. The very next stitch is just going to be a double crochet. So every other stitch is this front post treble, and you're noticing that I'm not changing the color, but the color is just changing on its own, which is fabulous. So now we're gonna do the next one as a front post treble. So you're gonna just see you're already done that one, so you're just gonna come over here. So every other stitch is basically this front post treble. If your stitch counts are right, your very last one, when you get all the way to the other side, let me just pull it out for you. The very last stitch over here will be a front post treble, and then you'll do your corners of 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and that's all you need to do to go around this thing. So the next time that you come around on round number 52, you'll start off in the same way. The first one out of the corner will be a front post treble, the next one's a double, and this one here's a treble, so you'll match it and make that a front post treble as well. So you'll see a ribbing effect happening, and that's what's happening then for week number 6. So please complete the remaining of these rounds all the way around, and we'd love to see your creativity available on Facebook, and I'll be back in just a few seconds to show you what this whole section looks like in the end. So just use the diagram to help you, and we'll see you again next time. If you're confident in your stitch counts and you are 1 stitch short like I am, I'm supposed to be as a front post double crochet here. I'm experienced in crochet. What I would do if I were you and you were me, and this may have happened to you, then make sure the last one stays as a front post treble, but just ignore the last one, pretend it does not exist, and just go right into your corner. And with your 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. And I know that you're thinking, well, gee, that's gonna look really obvious. No, it won't. Honestly, once you get moving on this thing, because that will bring you back in balance. And what I would do also, just to verify, is that the next side, make sure that you have the same number of trebles, and then it will stay in balance. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm back at the end of week number 6. I've done 2 extra rounds that I didn't mean to do. It's kind of an accident. So what I have here is that my point being is that you can make this thing bigger because the counts will still work out. So that's a nice idea, to be able to add a few more rounds if you want that. Now this is like acting like ribbing, so it's gonna be a little bit stretchy. Don't worry about it. It will work itself out, and because now we're gonna head on to week number 7 next time. So really cool idea. Kind of reminds me of ice cream on a beautiful summer's day. So I'll see you next time, week number 7 for the finale.